Our allies now using a new tactic against Donald Trump and the GOP. So after the president dinged the freshman rep in a tweet over her insensitive comments about 9/11, the freshman rep said that the mere criticism of her was akin to the incitement of violence. The media echo chamber, of course, was quick to highlight her concerns.
The freshman congresswoman says she has seen an increase in direct threats against her life after President Trump tweeted a video mixing footage of the congresswoman, who is Muslim, giving a recent speech with footage of the 9/11 attacks.
Nancy Pelosi is asking the U.S. Capitol Police to conduct a security assessment for Congresswoman Omar. The speaker is one of many Democrats now accusing the president of trying to incite violence against the first-term lawmaker.
Joining me now is Ben Shapiro, the Daily Wire's editor-in-chief and author of the brand-new book, The Right Side of History, which is fantastic. Ben, now, this isn't about free speech. This is about downplaying one of the darkest days in our nation's history. Your take?
That's, of course, true, and she has a long history of not taking terrorism particularly seriously. In 2013, she did an interview in Minnesota in which she joked about people taking al-Qaeda and Hezbollah more seriously than they took America and England. And then in 2016, she wrote a letter in which she tried to have a judge be more lenient with people who tried to join ISIS, saying that, of course, these were people who only became violent because of American marginalization. And then in 2017, she wrote a column for Time magazine in which she suggested that America was rooted and founded on slavery and genocide. And in order for us not to look that in the face, instead, we focused on international terror. This is not someone who takes terrorism particularly seriously, so I am bewildered as to why quoting her would constitute some form of violation of her personage. It would be a violation of free speech or something nonsensical like that.
Ben, just so people know what we're talking about here, I want to play that soundbite that you're referencing where she talks about the way people say al-Qaeda. Let's watch.
When I was in college, I took a terrorism class. Every time the professor said Al-Qaeda, he sort of like his shoulders went up, and
yeah, he's in command here.
Al-Qaeda, Hezbollah. You don't say America with an intensity. You don't say England with an intensity. You don't say the army with an intensity.
Well, and Ben, Pete Buttigieg, we talked about him earlier. He's the new star of the Democrat Party. He's edged out Beto O'Rourke, and now he's taken that spot in the spotlight. He talked today about the consequences of otherizing people like her. I thought you'd love this. Let's watch.
One of the worst things that's happening right now is otherizing people. And if we're wondering whether this has real-world consequences, look no further than what happened not long ago in New Zealand. And yes, by the way, the president demonizing Representative Omar is part of this. It's dangerous, and it's got to stop.
Otherizing, Ben.
Well, very odd, since Representative Omar has 3 times in the last 3 months been chided for openly anti-Semitic statements, and then the Democratic Party has defended her. I'm amused to watch as the Democratic Party suggests that criticism and quoting of Ilhan Omar amounts to violent incitement, where Representative Omar can say whatever Jew-hating thing she wants on a daily basis, and that is not incitement. Now, I agree, it's not incitement in either case, but to pretend that it is incitement when it's stuff you don't like, and it's not incitement when it's stuff that you do, seems pretty irresponsible at the mildest.
Well, I think Cortez, who kept Amazon out of New York, and they don't like her for that, thousands and thousands of jobs. I think Cortez is being very disrespectful to somebody that's been there a long time. I deal with Nancy Pelosi a lot, and we go back and forth, and it's fine. But I think that a group of people is being very disrespectful to her. And you know what? I don't think that Nancy can let that go on. A group of people that came from, I don't know where they came from. I'm looking at this Omar from Minnesota. And if 1/2 of the things they're saying about her are true, she shouldn't even be in office. But Cortez should treat Nancy Pelosi with respect. She should not be doing what she's doing. And I'll tell you something about Nancy Pelosi that you know better than I do. She is not a racist, okay? She is not a racist. For them to call her a racist is a disgrace.
I was assigned to 2 of some of the busiest committees and 4 subcommittees, so my hands are full. And sometimes I wonder if they're trying to keep me busy.
Well, AOC, they're stoking the fire. She says Speaker Pelosi saddling her with a lot of work to keep her out of the spotlight. Liz McDonald joins me for this hour. She's the host of the Evening Edit. Your thoughts on this split?
Well, this is poisonous. They're committing political harikari. They're putting themselves on a high-speed train to irrelevancy with this split in the party. You know, here's the thing. When you see Nancy Pelosi now being accused of racism, Nancy Pelosi is not racist. Why would anybody believe anything that these hard-left Democrats say? When you see the progressive caucus calling the problem solver caucus, quote, the child abuse caucus. When you see AOC's chief of staff saying, quote, about Nancy Pelosi, a legislative mastermind, where are the kitchen table policies? Well, where are your kitchen table policies, AOC? Because get this, Stuart, the Democrats are going into 2020 empty-handed. Nothing to show to the American people in terms of policies. So and Mitch McConnell blocked a lot of it. He said a lot of what the stuff they're sending his way was off the wall, bad. But that's what's happening right now. Remember, Pew Research, watch this, Pew said the majority of Americans in 2016 thought Hillary Clinton was too far left. Now the American people are looking at what's going on with what the Democrat Party is, and they're seeing swamp writ large. That's it.
And all of the candidates for the presidency, all the Democrat candidates, almost all of them are being dragged further and further and further to the left.
And you know what's happening? Those made-for-TV RNC GOP TV commercials with the raise the hand moment, that's tailor-made for 2020, and they just walked right into it. They're walking the party into the rotary blades of a helicopter. That's what they're shredding themselves. It's astonishing. And you and I, we've been talking about this for 2 years, that this is what was going to happen, and it's happening now. They did it to themselves. They're immolating themselves. I can't believe what's going on.
Yeah,
I'm just astounded.
The Evening Edit, Liz McDonald, is fired up about this. That's good stuff, Liz.
So I think I agree in the spirit of personal responsibility and our responsibilities to here as members that we can show up to our jobs, and I don't believe we have to be forced or compelled to do so. And I also believe that 5 days, again, we are a responsive body, and I want us to communicate to the American public that we are a responsive body, that we are an efficient and effective body, and that I don't believe we need 5 days. You know, many members, I understand that many members are from different parts of the country, but very frequently we are put on 24-hour notices to show up for votes. And I believe that we can continue to be that effective and efficient body without requiring a long lead time. I know that my Republican colleagues do not like the bureaucracy and the clogging up of government going on and preventing the American public from having their services done as quickly as possible. So I just wanted to express that. Thank you.
If the gentlewoman would yield.
Gentlelady, would you yield?
Yes.
I thank the gentlewoman for yielding. Mr. Chairman, I can tell you on all of this at this particular point, we're all wanting to cooperate. Sometimes our schedules, you know, we're not just sitting around eating bonbons waiting for the call of anybody. It's truly, you know, there are complex scheduling, and that's why we all have schedulers to get this done. And I yield back. I thank the gentlewoman for
Thank you.
Pardon? Yes.
My colleague, Senator Booker, and others, great emotion. I join issue with the statements of Senator Booker. I am deeply concerned and troubled about the words that I believe that Dick Durbin has shared with us that came from the President of the United States. I believe that the words spoken by any president of these United States are powerful words and should be spoken with a spirit of unifying and not dividing our country, should be spoken in a way that brings dignity to other human beings and does not demean them. I am deeply concerned when we are just having celebrated the birth of Dr. Martin Luther King, who spoke about the effect of racism in this country and words that are motivated by racism. For so many reasons, they are harmful. They have led to death. At their mildest form, which is not mild, It suggests to one group of people that they are inferior and to another that they are superior to their fellow man. This is a pivotal moment in the history of our country. When we are having discussions about whether the people of Norway, and I will use your words, Madam Secretary, and you spoke about how they were referred to as, by contrast to the people of Africa and the various countries, the 54 countries of Africa and Haiti, and we speak of them, and you've spoke of them, according to the President, as the people of Norway. Well, you know, they work very hard. The inference being the people of the 54 states of Africa and Haiti do not. That is a fair inference. And you run the Department of Homeland Security, and when you say you don't know if Norway is predominantly white, when asked by a member of the United States Senate, that causes me concern about your ability to understand the scope of your responsibilities and the impact of your words, much less the policies that you promulgate in that very important department. You opened by talking about a number of statistics that paint the threats the country faces from terrorism. In particular, you spoke of those who commit acts of terror who were not born in this country. The study you mention, however, leaves out some of the most rampant terror attacks that we've seen lately, which are domestic acts of terror. As has been mentioned, there is a report from the FBI and DHS which outlines white supremacist extremists, and I quote, the report says, will likely continue to pose a threat of lethal violence over the course of the next year. The report states that white supremacist extremists are responsible for 49 homicides and 26 attacks from the year 2000 to 2016, more than any other domestic extremist movement. I'm quoting. It is deeply troubling that in your opening comments, when you talk about the threats to our nation, our homeland, to national security, that you failed to mention a report that outlined a very specific threat to us as the American people. Deeply troubled. You must understand the inference, the reasonable inference that the American public is drawing from the words you speak, much less the words of the President of the United States. Now, I'd like to move on and talk about your management of your agency. You and I spoke several times during your confirmation process, both at a personal meeting on November 2nd and in your November 8th confirmation hearing before the Homeland Security Committee. In your confirmation hearing on November 8th, you stated you would issue guidance to your agents stating that DACA recipients and dreamers are not enforcement priorities. Have you done that?
They are not enforcement priorities, ma'am.
Have you issued that statement and that to your agents, that guidance?
That is clear from the ICE.
That's not my question.
I personally have not, no.
You also committed that you would make